Hello everyone, good afternoon and welcome back. How is everyone doing? Hopefully good. I'm doing pretty good too. My printer not doing so well. Let me know in the chat to let me know if everything's going okay. Just noticed a stray sticker, but it's okay. So, as you may be aware from a previous video where I did a complete teardown of the K1C, Creality have sent me this printer. They didn't tell me or ask me to do anything specifically with it. I've used it for a bit and it's been rather annoying. Things have not gone particularly well. The print quality, I've literally printed barely anything and the results were not particularly great. From what I can see, loads of over extrusion. It's not particularly well tuned. The first layer calibration is not great. So I was like, well, first thing, let's try and tune the E-steps, the extruder steps to make sure we're getting the right amount of filament. How do we normally do that? We extrude 100 millimeters of filament and measure how much was actually extruded. So I went into the interface. I was like, right, you can only extrude a set length, the one that they give you, and they don't tell you what it is. Amazing. So I was like, well, at least we've got the web interface. Surely that'll work. We can use that. So I went on there. Nothing. So I was like, okay, last ditch effort. We can always just send a console command via the web interface to do the extrusion. No, they cut that out as well. So there's literally no way to go, I want 100 millimeters of filament on this printer. So that was the final straw. I was like, right, we're going to try and fix it. By fix it, I mean root it. So for those not familiar with the term, I mean, I don't know if I'm going to get it exactly right, but it basically in this context means we're going to be accessing the firmware so we can modify it. Now, in this case, we're actually probably going to be sort of removing the original firmware and putting on a more standard stock-ish version of Klipper. I think that's kind of how it works, although I don't know the specifics. I've not read through all the instructions. I just had a look. I found one on GitHub, and it looked like it was in-depth enough that it would work. So hopefully it does. If it doesn't, it's going to be a pretty short stream. If it does, then we'll have lots of success, and hopefully it can be somewhat of a video-ish guide of how to do flashing of the printer to make it useful, or more useful than it would otherwise be. So, hello. T-Gen Engineering? Dejaku. Derek, hello. Kitty's Corner. Rushmere, hello James. Scotty, Derek in there with the donation already. Thank you very much. Will it also change the UI in the screen? I don't know. I have no idea. It might. It'd be nice if it did. I'd quite like Klipper screen, but I don't know if it will. So we'll find out. I can press like directly on your donation. That's cool. Thank you very much, Derek. Much appreciated. So let me show you what we're hopefully, by the way, no guarantees. I absolutely have not tried this. I don't know if it works, but I'm going to give it a go anyway. That's nothing, isn't it? There we go. That's the one. So it's by this person whose name I believe is probably French, and I cannot really pronounce very well. Guillou. I apologize. It's probably totally wrong. Guillou. I'm sorry. English people aren't good with anything other than English. Plain, boring, standard English. So, yes, this is a kind of wiki guide. I mean, there's not obviously much on this first page, but if you click through to here, you see there's this huge table of stuff we can do and tinker with and modify and all that kind of stuff. So, hopefully, there's plenty in there that will enable us to do what we want to do. which is basically get as close to normal, proper, stock, standard, vanilla Klipper as possible. We may lose some stuff along the way. Like I had a quick read of some bits, and it was like, if you remove the Creality web interface, then because the integration between Creality Slicer and the printer is built into the Creality's web interface, you can no longer print directly from the Creality print software to the printer. But as far as I know, once you have access to the Wi-Fi with Moonraker and Klipper and everything stock, you can just send prints to it, to the IP address, like you can with any other Klipper printer. So that's my hope. Hopefully that all works as I hope. As I said, no guarantees, don't know if it works, don't know really anything about this creator and what work they've done previous to this. I don't know if they're reputable or anything. So I literally found it about 40 minutes ago, and I was like, I'm going to do a live stream on this now. So I think that's probably quite enough yabbering. We've made it to 3:30. So I guess we can get started. This is going to be a very computery based live stream, so there might not be that much to look at on the printer. Yes. So I was kind of looking for like step 1, step 2, step 3, because that to me would have been the obvious thing. I think somewhere in here there needs to be a go here first, but I'm assuming based on this kind of structure here that the first place to go is the installation/restoration, which is installing the rooted firmware. So I've got official firmware from Creality. Now I don't know what firmware I've got in here at the moment. Let's have a quick look. 1.3.3.5. So it looks like I've got this firmware version here, which is the most recent. So that's good, I guess. Firmware works on K1, K1C, and K1 Max. Detection of the correct printer being carried out by firmware. Again, doesn't look like English their first language, unless I'm not reading it properly. So there may be some issues with English, but like by and large, doesn't really matter. It's all technical language. As long as they get the technical stuff right, I think we'll be there. Hello, Iconic Fab. Insert USB drive into the computer. Format it, copy the desired .image firmware file to the root of your USB drive and remove it from your computer. Turn on the printer. When you are on the home screen, plug in the USB drive. A pop-up should appear. Press upgrade when it's done. The printer restarts. When you're on the home screen, you can remove the USB drive. Follow this, reset factory settings to restore. Official firmwares for a K1 series. So are these the modified firmware? Do we not need to modify the firmware? Do we just need the root access? I'm assuming this is the image file in here. I think this is just installation of standard firmware. If you've made modifications to your printer, you can no longer perform the self-setup check. Download and unzip this, copy this, plug this, start this. Root access must be enabled if you restore the printer to factory settings. It's not entirely clear. I'm assuming we can just kind of start here. This is the same root access. You can now connect with SSH by this guide. Okay. Enable root access section. Oh dear. It's going in circles. Okay. I'm going to try in the way that I would normally do this. So we want to SSH to the username root at the IP address. And then it's going to ask for a thing. and then it's going to ask for the password, which it didn't like. Creality underscore 2023. Yeah, da-da! Okay, so this looks like we now have root access. This is a very convoluted way of doing it. Okay. Okay, so we got the root access done. Restore to previous firmware, restore factory settings, install helper script. The versions of Moonraker are not the latest. With this guide and my script, you can install latest official builds and many other stuff. 1.3.2 and above, we are. Please restore firmware to factory settings before using script to avoid issue. Restore factory settings. Download the K1 reset. This seems a bit dodgy, but I'm going to give it a go anyway against my better judgment. So this is just an HTML. Make sure the guppy screen is removed. I haven't done that. Please enter your printer's IP address and click reset. So maybe, is that it? Yep, the printer restarted. That was very simple. You can see just in the bottom of the screen here, the logos come up because the printer's restarted. So presumably this has been a basically completely factory reset to that language screen where it's like, where do you live? What's your name and where'd you come from? Yes, so that takes us to the language section. So that's probably the tool they use after they've done the testing out of the factory and then gave me this printer that's done 1,000 hours of printing. This is what they use to make sure they're all factory reset. Right. Now we can do the installation of the helper script. If you've already installed Moonraker, Fluid, or mainsell provided by Creality, please uninstall them first using remove menu. I have not done that. We're totally factory stock. So this is like as you bought the printer. Hello, Jose. Connect to SSH. Enter the following command. Oh, I'm going to have to reconnect to this probably. Can't do anything. I think we have to is that it? SSH root at 192.168.1.81. Oh, of course, there's now no it won't be connected to the Wi-Fi now because I did a factory reset. Okay, give me a moment while I make sure I reconnect it to the network. I'll be back in just a second. Okay. It wants to do the whole thing. Hopefully we can just turn it off and it'll save the settings that it's done and then go to the normal menu. Oh, it's gone right back to the start. What an absolute load of... Okay, it's kind of the start, but kind of not. All the settings are saved. Okay, it's going to do some testing. I can't stop it. See if I can continue with my thing. Anyway, hopefully you can see that. Okay. Huh. Well, it worked before. Maybe it's found its own new IP address. No, it's on 81. Oh, do I have to enable the root? I think I have to enable it on the printer first. Oh yeah, you've just come to the same conclusion I have. I thought, so I did that before, but I thought it was just to show you the credentials to do it, rather than to actually accept that that's what's going to happen. So unfortunately now we have to wait for all this input shaping and the auto leveling to happen before we can get to the main menu. I've not spoken to Corality about the extruder, the all metal extruder thing. I did talk to them about the fact that the printer looks like it's been used for 1,000 hours. And all they really had to say was, yeah, we did some testing on the printer before we sent it to you. I'm like, yeah, okay, so you watched the video and basically said back what I said and didn't come up with anything original. Whatever, like, yeah, they did some testing, about 1,000 hours worth. I don't really care that much, because, like, but If they want me to represent their printer, I don't think sending me one that's extremely well used is the great way to do that. It also made the disassembly and inspection rather yuck, but it is what it is. They know, and I said, if you're going to do that again, please let me know in advance. Whether they will or not, I have no idea. They tend to sort of do their own thing. No, I think, so what they said to me is, because I'm in the first batch, the printers that I have that they've sent out are kind of pre-production ones. So the ones that were made of like first batch of what should be production intent. And they do loads and loads of running tests on them to make sure they're working. So I think pretty much everyone in this early batch will be getting a printer that's approximately equal to the amount of use that my one has had. So I don't think anyone's getting a new machine. They said, if you want a new one, we can send it to you later, which basically means you won't be getting it in time to do any sort of meaningful content. It'll be after everyone else has already done a video and shared how good it is and all this kind of stuff. So it's like, yeah, okay, whatever. Send me it as soon as you can. If it's an old, very used one, please let me know in advance. Right, now we're going for some auto leveling. One of the problems with the input shaping, by the way, is, so this is according to the guide or somewhere else. If you look at the values that the input shaper saves, the y-axis results override the x-axis ones. So if you test x, it will give you a value. If you then test y afterwards, you'll get a different value and then copy it to both. Because why not? So this is another reason why we'd like to root it to get full access, so we can do this the way we want to do it rather than the way we're told to do it. It's like touching the nozzle on the rubber cleaning thing. Very strange. One of the slight downsides or difficulties I did have on the reassembly is getting the bed level. Now, I don't know how level it actually was from the factory. Oh, excuse me. I don't know why I've started yawning already, blimey. Yeah, I don't know how level it was from the factory, but it's definitely not very level now. It's very difficult because you have to put the belt on with this like huge amount of tensioning spring thing. But every time you try and put the belt on, you rotate the lead screws that are kind of in position. What is it doing that needs that much airflow? That's a lot of airflow for some auto leveling. I have a ERCF kit, actually, that's just come yesterday or the day before. So hopefully I can build one of those at some point soon. And also parts to make a TD1, which is the transmission distance detector unit box from Ajax for finding parts from doobly-doo. You know, Huforge, that's the word. Well, the tape on the box all says Triangle Labs, so I'm assuming I bought it from Triangle Labs. They've not sponsored it or anything. I just bought the pre-order kit. The reason I bought the one that I bought is because it came with the Big Tree Tech controller. but apparently there were issues. I had a little like letter in the box that came, and they were like the first batch of the electronics from Big Tree Tech had a flaw, so they sent out a different controller for now, and when the Big Tree Tech one is released, they'll send that as well, which seems pretty good of them. Yeah, may well run into issues. I don't know. It is what it is. I did start looking and trying to self-source everything. I was just like, I don't have the time for this. So I just got whatever looked reasonable. Did you screw the bed down when you installed the bottom belts again? Yes, that was exactly what I did. Oh my god, this is the longest leveling process. There should be an option to not do all of this. There's so many things that, I don't know. This is why we're doing this process, because Creality firmware is just annoying. Give you a poke if you're... Oh, yeah, okay. I mean, I probably don't need it, but I like to struggle anyway. But yes, if I have any questions that I can't work out, I shall keep that in mind. Thank you. Come on, printer. Hello. No. The printer could be quite good, as long as you just change everything. Change the hot end, change the extruder, change the bed to have 3 motors, change the screen, the firmware, the control board. But apart from that, it's fine. Oh dear. I think what the bed installation can do with, it has the screws to hold it down, but it needs some like blocks that fit in that gap, so it actually has something to like compress against. It stopped the bed raising up as I was putting the belt on, but not from going down. So just some kind of little jigs that you can put in the bottom, screw down into, so those mounts are all like solidly fixed, so you can't rotate them as you install the belt. But even then, if you're... Yeah, you have to like get the belt positioned in just the right way and pull the tension all the way around consistently. Yeah, it's just not ideal. Hey, self-check completed. Right. So what you have to do... Oh, the grinding noises from that Z-axis. And now going maximum temperature. Yay. How about... No. Thank you. Right. I think it's down the bottom here. I think expert mode. Nope. Where is it? Aha. Root account information. Which is why I thought it was just information, but I think this gives you the access as well. So this is a disclaimer warning. It gives you 30 seconds to read through it. So about blah, 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 safety, blah, 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 visualization, gaining, blah, 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 failure, I don't know. No, we have to actually wait. You can't click the button until 30 seconds is up, so... Will you have to do this process again with each firmware update? I would think not, because we're going to remove the original firmware. There we go, and it shows you the account details, but they're the same for every printer. Okay, so let's bring this camera back to normal. Bring the instructions back, and now we can SSH hopefully to our machine. Machine. Boom. Whoa, hello. Oh, bloody Nora. So this is what happens if you change the printer, but it reconnects to the same IP address, because it creates a hosts file. I don't know if you're aware of that. So I'm just going to basically go and find my hosts file. Can't remember where it's actually located. So it's in C local disk, system 32. Oh my god, hidden files. Have I just forgotten how to do this? Windows. System 32. Driver. Oh, this might be wrong. Yeah, so the host file is where it checks for IP addresses. That is the right thing. It's just in a weird place. Drivers. etc. Hosts. Nope, that is not the thing that I was looking for. Okie dokie. What was I doing wrong then? Let's try again. Okay, so it tells you here, add correct host key and C Windows, or this is your user SSH known hosts to get rid of this message. So while I'm browsing through my directories, I'm just going to change window. So C users Adam SSH known hosts. So there's a bunch of text in this thing. You can just delete the whole line that applies to the IP address that you're having issues with. So then we run it again. And then it'll just ask you again to verify. And then password. And we're in. Okay, great. So now we're going to, if you already have Moonraker, Fluid, or mainsell, don't connect to SSH. Enter the following command to install script in the root folder. So just copy this and right click over here. Right click is paste, so that does the whole thing. And then you just press enter and that'll go and do its thing. I'll switch sides for these. So it looks like it's going to download a thing from the GitHub and do a thing. Oh yeah, that's done. It just downloads it. And then we run the installer. Ta-da! If you encounter an error, you can delete the cache. So this is now the install menu. So we can install Moonraker, Fluid, mainsell, Firmware, Klipper, G-code, shell command, hostname service, supervisor, host control, all sorts of loads of things. Remove the Creality web interface and replace it with Fluid. Yes! Okay, so it looks like this is the menu. Let's go have a little look, shall we? The install menu. So you just type in the number. Obviously, you can see the number here, or here. And then you just type it in and press enter. So I think we'll probably go with all of these for now. Oh, what? YN is obviously yes, no. So if you decide you press the wrong button, you press N and then enter. Hopefully I don't need to explain that, but I'm doing it anyway because I'm filling time while it's downloading the Moonraker and NGINX file. Whoa, look at it go. Yeah, me too. I mean, it's kind of annoying, isn't it, that it's good that the community does it, but because Creality know that community does it, and they will continue to do it because they want good stuff, Creality just continue to not bother. And then we're going to install mainsell. So you could install Fluid, but I like mainsell. I have it on other printers. There's no real reason why I choose one over the other. It's one thing I always wonder when I have to make a choice on stream and everyone's like, oh, well, I have to do that because Adam said it's better. It's like, no, I'm not saying either is better. I'm just doing mainsell because that's what I've done before. I don't really have any reason why one is better. So I don't know about all of these extra things which I would or wouldn't want. I mean, I'm sure lots of them are useful and excellent. I'm just going to go for the very basics for now. I don't want to overcomplicate stuff immediately. So can we immediately just go? Oh, so we want to now remove the Creality interface. So we go Q or Q to exit. Oh, we actually meant back. Okay, so to the remove menu. This looks the same as the install menu. 3, customize. Aha. Customize. 1, install custom boot display. 2, remove custom boot display. To install a custom Creality theme. Well, we'll remove that because we don't really want that. And we'll remove the Creality web interface. Because Creality Printer is an annoying piece of software anyway, and we've got plenty good slices, so that's fine. And I don't actually know what Gecko Screen is, so let's have a quick look at that, shall we? Native touch UI for 3D printers. Do we have any pictures? Oh, it looks like Klipper screen. We'll go without it for now. I don't know what's going to come up. I'd kind of just want to use Klipper screen, but if we have to use Gecko screen because of the weird screen or something, then we shall do that. Allows to have dynamic Creality logos on the fluid web, and I don't want that. I don't want to look Creality logos anywhere. Oh, correct. You should not have to do any of this. I absolutely agree. This menu allows you to back up and restore config. Allows you to perform different actions. I imagine it's a lightweight version for those LCDs that have separate firmware. But could you not just put Klipper? I don't know. I don't know enough about software. I know you know a lot more, so that seems like a reasonable guess. Information menu allows you to know what is installed or not on the printer. So if we go B for back, informations. So what if I just go okay, it's not liking this. So what we have to do, there's like a specific instruction. Change Wi-Fi location, remove. I thought there was. Copy screen is a new UI which allows you to see calibration info such as input shapers, etc. Access to web interface. To access the Creality web interface, use Creality print. For web interface, for mainsell web interface, use installation helper script, which we've just done. You can remove web interface. This can be useful in some cases. Know that you will no longer be able to print. That's what I did. So maybe we have to do a restart. I removed the Creality web interface, but I've installed mainsell, which is a new web interface, which should be accessed over the same thing. But maybe I need another one of these. So what's not worked here? Because this says, so I need to set the default. I've removed it and I've installed the other one, but I've not set it as the default. If you set Fluid as the default web interface, then it will be accessible with a standard IP address. So we need to do that somewhere. Oh, hang on. And uptime. Okay, I think we'll probably want to have a look at what it says about these other things, because it might just be I need to install one of these other components. And where's a software repository to devices which use the Linux kernel? It allows packages to be added to your printer to perform new tasks, provide other functionality. Not sure we need that. Okay, if it's in official build, we should probably install it, I would think. So Moonraker, we've done. Mainsell, we've done. Entware, we've not. Klipper G-code shell. I'll do with number 5. Remove installed features, customize your printer. Backup and restore, tools, information, system. Where was camp? Klipper adaptive meshing and purging. Yeah, I will, but that I thought that was not the tool I thought it was. I can do these things, but I want to mainly get the web interface to be normal to begin with. Can I change it in here? Why are you saying 4409 at me? 4409 was... Oh, 4408 works as well. They both work. But the default is still Creality. It says 4408 for Fluid, but this is mainsell. Look, this is the mainsell logo. I've not installed Fluid, so it can't be doing Fluid. I think a reboot is a good idea. Let's do that. Can we do it from here? Anyone want to edit this into an instructional thing that makes some sense? Well, the Creality logo is still here, so... It just takes a long time to boot up. My ear-based microphone is being a bit annoying. Error. Unknown exception. Excellent. Okay, so we do need to install the other interface that we found. So one install, where's Guppy? Let's just check this first. Okay, this is good. Kind of. Code key message printer is not ready. The Clippy host software is attempting to connect. So. Oh, we're there! Da 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 da. We have mainsell. Now, how much better is that interface than the awful Creality one? Holy balls. If Creality wanted to modify the firmware or the user interface and hide specific things, you know what they should do? They go here. Is it here? I forget which bit it is. There's like a layout bit, and you can just hide the things that you don't want people to see. Yeah, here. Desktop. You just go, oh, I don't really want them to see the console, so we'll just do that. and then, oh, it should go away. Oh, it's because I'm not on my widescreen console. No, tablet size console. There we go. There you go. And now the console disappears, so people won't start tampering with it until they're at least expert enough to find the menu to put it back. It's just. So now we will also have factory_printer.cfg. Just multiple versions. We have printer.cfg. So we can now modify this as much as we goddamn please. We can do probably PID tuning. I think, could they had a setting for that? ADXL. Ooh, PR touch. This is their kind of touch probe thing, I guess, for the bed. Resonance testing. See, this is, if you look here, they're both the same. 32.4 on X and Y, because the settings copy to make them both the same. So, what are the other things? You're telling me I should have everything in utilities. Does that mean I have to? Is it not going to work if I don't have them? I kind of just want all the stuff that's part of standard Klipper. Install menu. And where Klipper code. See, this is software repository. It allows packages to be added to your printer to perform new tasks, provide other functionality. I don't think I need this. Klipper G-code shell, we did. Hostname services. Change the hostname of the machine. All of these. It's so many macros. There's already, like, if you look in, where was it? Dashboard. There's already 500,000 macros. Very strange. Accurate G28. And we could just press all the buttons and install all the things, but Moonraker time lapse, camera settings control. So we're going to see these settings here immediately if we do like 9. Klipper adaptive meshing and purging. Do you use Prusa slicer? No. I mean, a sort of Orca, probably. It's not technically Prusa slicer, but based on it. It feels like I don't really have to have any knowledge. I just press buttons and it does things. Buzzer support. Let's add buzzer support. Yes. Buzzing. Buzz, 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 buzz. Oh dear. Did I do the Guppy screen? No, let's do Guppy. Where's Guppy screen gone? That was in a different part, wasn't it? Back. Customize. 5. Install Guppy screen. Yes. Do you want to install Guppy screen with material design or Z-Bolt theme? Material? I have absolutely no idea. Do you want to disable all Creality services? Benefits. Frees up system resources on your K1 for critical systems such as Klipper. Disadvantages. Disabling all Creality services breaks Creality Cloud and Creality Print. That's exactly what I want to do. Yes! Victory will be mine! Waiting for printer to initialize. I would quite like Klipper screen. Let's have a quick look at this. Whoop. Okay. So we've got a bunch of menus down the side. This looks pretty similar. So this is macros, this is console, this is settings, this is other settings. Oh, this is tuning, and this is settings. So you can set your temperatures, 200 or 0, LEDs, max, off, max. Your temperatures come on because that's hit a certain chamber. And you've got chamber temperature because you've got a chamber thermistor doodly-doo at the back. Extrude is the toilet roll. So we can extrude in certain speeds and distances. That's nice. Printing. Oh, files that are already on there. Oh, it looks like we can sort them as well. That's nice. And a reload button. Quite like that. Fans. That's good. This is just going to be a bunch of different Gecko based macro whatsits. This you can type in, presumably. There's a, yeah, you can just type in stuff here. We don't really need to do that right now. Create a bed mesh. Oh, view the bed mesh. That's quite nice. Calibrate. Clear profile. Calibrate profile. Nice. Fine tune. Pressure advance. Speed. Flow. Pressure advance. Plus, minus. Oh, these are nice. Multipliers. Z stepping. Very cool. Input shaper. You can tune those. You can just disable them. That's quite cool. Belts. Excite frequency. What is your excite frequency? We're doing some exciting frequencies. Can't you install vanilla Klipper? I don't actually know. I mean, we've kind of, yeah, we've not really got vanilla Klipper, have we, as such? To remove? No. Well, the belts did make some weird noises there. So there might be some notes on it on the updating section. Yeah, see, there's no Klipper on here, which I think there normally is, isn't there? God, it's doing a long range. Yeah. Oop, not that. 92 hertz. I can recommend Octo Everywhere. I've been using that recently. Because one thing I liked about the Bamboo printers is the notification. You get a notification on your phone when they're done. Because if your printers are kind of shut away in a different room and you don't necessarily know when they're finished, whereas this can give you a notification on your phone, which is pretty handy. I won't try and install anything right now. We're in the middle of it tuning. I don't know if it will like that process much. Oh, so instead of doing, I've just kind of worked out what these things do. Instead of doing like X then Y, which obviously in Core XY would be like both motors in the same or opposite directions, this is just doing one motor. So it would typically, that would cause diagonal motion. I'm just looking at the instructions about entware and what else is here. You can add SFTP protocol. So this entware basically enables you to do stuff that would normally be like download, install, and the package name. So we can go through Update Manager. So in terms of these things on the right, we've done SSH connection. We've worked that out. Access to the web interface we've done because we've got mainsell here. And now we're on Update Manager. Possible to update Klipper using Moonraker. Changes are automatically applied by the latest version of installation helper script. Okay, so it sounds like I probably don't need to do this. This is the Moonraker modification. They're automatically applied, so all of this is already done, which is absolutely fantastic. So all our updates are configured. Configure the camera. When you first go to the original Fluid web interface, the camera will not be detected because it's disabled. So this is not Fluid, but webcams. Add a webcam. Aha, that was easy. I think we need to show the FPS counter. Can we save it? Or is it just add a webcam? Why can't I save it? Oh, hasn't got a name. Webcam 1. Easy peasy. Ta-da! Look, my hand. Woo! Amazing. So, running commands, belt calibration. I think it's going to come up with some results in a minute. I'm really glad I found this. This is absolutely fantastic. I thought it was going to be a whole lot more difficult. I'm tempted to say basically anyone with a K1 should be using this. Like, unless you've got some unhealthy addiction to Creality Cloud or their awful slicer, then like this is just, it's so easy to do. Obviously, I've maybe been lucky in that nothing's gone wrong. I'm sure it's possible for something to go wrong. There's always disclaimers and your mileage may vary. But this thing is bloody brilliant. Improved shapers calibrations, probably. Belt's estimated similarity 89.4%. Oh, it's made a tiny little graph. That's adorable. Oh, you can zoom in on it. Look at this. Ta-da! That's epic. Look at that, boys and girls. Do we change this to where the where this is? Is it like 30 hertz? Maybe you have to do a difference. I don't know. We'll ignore it for now because I don't know how it works. Limits, all your kind of velocity acceleration limits. Wi-Fi, restart Klipper, restart settings, restart Guppy, update Guppy, and system settings. Oh, this is absolutely banging. So cool! Number 13. So we did buzzer support, nozzle cleaning, fan control. 11. Yes. Fans control macros. 12. Yes. Improved shaper calibrations. Yes. I'm probably going a bit fast. Gecko Screen already has the functionality of improved shaper calibration, so we don't need both. 14. Some useful macros. This allows to install useful macros like bed leveling and PID. Yes. Adding useful macros. Save Z offset macros. Yay. Do all the things. Screws tilt adjust support. I mean, that's not going to work. I don't think. K1 or K1 Max? K1. Because maybe they have some sort of adjustment system that I'm not aware of. I don't know how they're supposed to, because the belt links all of them together, so I'm not sure how that's going to work. Make a time lapse. That sounds like funsies. I'm just sort of stress testing now. Oh, please install Entware first. Okay, so let's install Entware. Because there's no reason really not to have it, I suppose. I was just like, let's just do basic, but being able to get packages is going to be useful for other stuff. Yeah, it'll be like a manual, probably, configuration. As Nuno says there, it tells you which one to rotate. That's why it was like one of the old ways of doing mesh bed leveling or something like that. It was like it just probes and then tells you what to do to change. I mean, I don't know what I'm going to do with all these macros. Like, oh, it's bloody insane. What we can do, is there a fast way to do it on here? I've never really done it. Yeah, you can just turn them on and off. Oh, we can do beep. Beep macro. Where is it? Oh. Beep. I can't hear it though. I assume that's supposed to be the motherboard buzzer. Maybe they've turned it off. K1C doesn't have it. Accurate G28. I can't even imagine what that would be. End print. I mean, we don't need... So this doesn't disable the macros as far as I'm aware. What I'm doing is just turning them off, as in turning off the buttons on the web user interface. So they're just not as... I can kind of refine it to the ones that are actually going to be useful. Helps a little bit. What's the closest thing to a K1C with standard extrusion at a similar price? There isn't a thing. Nothing similar price that's better. Which is why the K1C is popular, because it's very cheap. That's the Creality way. The K1, yeah. So the way I prefer, yeah, so if you, as mentioned there, if you go to expert, you can put them in groups and folders, but that's more effort than I want to bother with. I don't know what most of them do. I want to be able to just see what the commands are. Huh. These, I mean, these are going to be the new ones, useful macros. I don't know if they're gonna... Has it plonked them all into... I hate how this is limited. Oh no, now we've got two printer.cfgs. That doesn't seem great. Oh no. What's happened there? Yeah, so it's added in a bunch of includes. So if you hop over to helper script, these are all the new macros. Fan controls, so it turns on and off fans according to temperatures and that kind of stuff. So these are just automatic. Setting table temperatures with sliders. Oh my god, G-code macro M106. That is an intense macro. It's going to take me a while to work out exactly what that does. Screws to adjust, positions, horizontal move, screw thread. Yeah, you're turning it the screw thread counterclockwise or clockwise M4. So probably a 4mm lead, and then it'll say rotate it 1 turn clockwise or something. Useful macros, start bed leveling. So if the probe count is something, do a probe count, get count. With those things, set the filament sensor, enable, check, bed mesh clear, nozzle clear, temp, doopa 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 doo. Someone's put a lot of effort into these, a lot more effort than I think Krause have put into their macros and stuff. Because this is actually doing like checks and moves and everything and instead as well, rather. I'm a bit concerned that we've got 2 printer.cfg files. This is not supposed to happen. I imagine if we restart now, something's going to get a bit confused. Is there anyone, sorry, is there anything anybody wants me to check or do? Because this has gone a lot quicker and simpler than I thought it was. An hour has passed and we're kind of done. I wasn't planning to do a whole lot more. I thought it was going to be more complicated. We've done a bit of playing around. Sliders for fans. The PWM's a bit noisy. Eesh. MC fan, hot end fan, filament sensor. Filament sensor 2. I didn't know there was 2. Is there one in the hot end as well? No, there's just extruder. Weird. What do you mean, what firmware is it running? It's running Klipper firmware. Well, it's still technically running Creality's Klipper firmware, I believe. Oh, I think this 2 is one's for motion. No, because it doesn't have motion. I don't know. I'm not sure by how I would check what firmware it's running and what you mean. I mean, we go back here, 7. It's running Linux kernel 4.4.94, firmware 1.3.3.5. So it is still running technically Creality's Klipper firmware. But we've installed mainsell instead of the Creality web interface. I did not get time-lapse to work in Fluid. Can you get it to work? Do you mean just having a webcam? I've got that working. I don't know exactly. I need to start a print to set up a time-lapse. Where do we go for time-lapse settings? I've never really done much time-lapse before. I mean, this is mainsell rather than Fluid, but So maybe let's just check. Oh, we've had lots of people just join. How come lots of people have just joined? 57 up to like 75 people. But that's good. Was somebody else live streaming and I just butted in on their time? What about the customize menu? No, that was that one. That's a bit of a weird menu. I'm not sure quite why that's there. Because if it's not installing or removing, then it's... Supervisor Lite, we didn't install that. This allows managing services with Moonraker. Don't really... I like to know what things are for. Camera settings control. Your camera version is not compatible. Installing Moonraker time-lapse. So yeah, that's in the camera section. We'll see what happens when it's installed. Let's see if it is improved since anyone else has tried it. Oh, connection failed. I assume that's just because of a reboot. What I'm looking for, hopefully, is some time-lapse. Oh, here we go, time-lapse. Create directory, refresh directory. Time-lapse enabled. If disabled, G-code macros are ignored and auto radar render is skipped. Auto render, select the camera to be used. It's not finding the camera. So there's a bunch of settings, but this one's the one that's concerning me. We should definitely, I'm sure, be able to select the camera that we want to use. Let's try this 18 now that we've installed that. Camera version is not compatible. So we're thinking... Yeah. Cam settings, nozzle cleaning, save Z offset, time lapse config. Do not change any macro. Get time lapse set up, print the time lapse set up to nozzle. Print the time lapse set up to console. So I think maybe we will run this. And then use setup time lapse, enable true verbose. Parking, park position, park time, custom X, custom Y, travel, extrude speed, do. So this would, I think, enable you to just manually control when they're taken. Hyperlapse settings. So we found this, but I don't know why. Maybe we'll delete this and add it again. Does it matter which type of camera you use? Maybe it does. Still doesn't want to put it on here. Use time-lapse. This procedure must be repeated after restoring the printer. Okay. In the script, install, press 1, Moonraker time-lapse, configuration, configure time-lapse settings. On the mainsell web, go to settings on the top right corner, then time-lapse. Your slicer must be configured too. More info about Moonraker time-lapse here. Instructions for Moonraker time-lapse. So we include this, slicer setup, time-lapse, take frame. Idea maker, activate the component. Configuring, enabled mode, low macro, hyperlapse, auto render. This thing lets you choose which camera should be used to take the frames from. It depends on the webcam namespace in the Moonraker database and uses the snapshot URL flipx flipby associated with selected camera. So who said we have to go to 4409? I'm not sure that will make much difference. No, it's the same thing. There's not a lot. Can I do this now? If I just send it. In the Moonraker config. I'd have thought if that's required, it would be done by the script thing. Remove from the lines below if you're using mainsell, and so that's already done. The webcam camera. Maybe is this. I could be completely wrong. We could just completely break it. But I hope not. Has anyone here been using some decent printing profiles as well for the K1? Because again, the Creality Slicer stuff is unsurprisingly a bit pants. Where's the stuff on here? Oh, Walker Slicer. That's probably some slicer profiles. Yeah, I think I'll be switching over to Orca Slicer as well. So that's not done really anything. It's just added a camera here. Yeah, that is what I thought, but it's not going to do anything because it's not really configured properly. I don't really understand why this one is not being picked up in this interface. Hopefully, whoever the person whose name I couldn't pronounce that created this absolutely fabulous set of tools, Gio, I'm sorry. Hopefully, maybe, perchance, they'll be able to leave a little comment under this video to let you know how far or close I got with that and what you need to do if you want to lose time lapse. Lose time lapse? Use time lapse. We're probably close. There's just like one thing which we've not got quite right. And it means that none of it works. Where's the camera that I added here? Well, it's certainly something that I think seems pretty cool. I'll try using that now that I've got some way to actually calibrate things on this printer. And I'll use some Orca Slicer profiles, and hopefully we can finally get something decent out of this machine. At some point, I would really like to have a different control board. That would be awful cool. Awful cool, innit? I have some ideas. Anyway, I think that's going to be it for now. Right. Just as I've broken it, hopefully it'll come back. There we go. Seems like they might have tuned senseless homing properly as well. Oh, this is an intense homing sequence. It does the bit of wibbly wobbly in the middle, just to be sure. Cool. Well, thank you everyone for joining in. Sure. Oh yeah, thank you, Derek, for the donation. That was very kind of you. Don't forget to check out CNC Kitchen's latest video if you haven't already on cauliflower. Check out their website as well. They do lots of cool heat set inserts and torque screws. Not sponsored, by the way. Yeah, Creality gave me this printer. They didn't ask me to do anything. They didn't pay me to do anything. So I've made this. Hopefully it's obvious that I'm not super keen on the machine as it is as standard. But as always, they deliberately don't finish everything off so that people have lots of stuff to tinker with. Hi, Pedro. Ah, that's excellent. Yoroga, who was having trouble with the time-lapse on Fluid by the looks of it. It looks like some help has arrived, which is wonderful. Thank you very much. What a blooming awesome community we have. Righto. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you very much, everyone. I'm going to go try and print some stuff with this printer, and hopefully I'll be able to tune it and get some decent prints out of it. Maybe different control board and stuff at some point, just for funsies. Different hot end and extruder as well, maybe, just because I feel like that would be fun. Anyway. Yes, you're here right for the end. I'm now saying goodbye. Goodbye.